A friend of mine got a hold of me just a couple days ago. She sent a picture to me, and it was a picture of a shirt. That shirt had the abbreviation of her state on it, and she asked me, "What do you think about this shirt? How do you think they did this?" So I told her what I thought, but I also told her, let me make a video on it. Now, if you are a beginner with Embrilliance, this is a very beginner-friendly project, and you only need Stitch Artist Level 1. Now, I've made a couple of these for myself. This first one, I used the font Arial Black, and I made this design about 10 inches by 8 inches. For my second shirt, I used just Arial, and I made it about 9 by 7. It's totally up to your own taste. So if you want to see how easy this project really is, stick around. Now, I already have Embrilliance software opened, so let's go ahead and get started. You do need to have at least Stitch Artist Level 1 to do this, but that's all you really have to have. So if you don't have Essentials or you don't have Stitch Artist Level 2, you can still do this. Our screens might look a little bit different, but I'm going to talk you through it. So the first thing that you do is you go right up here to this Create Designs icon. Now, if all you have is Essentials, you're not going to have this icon. But if you have any of the Stitch Artist programs, this will show up. So we're going to click on it. Then we're going to go right over here and we're going to click on this TT. Now, if you have Stitch Artist Level 1, this is not going to include vector, but for what we're doing today, that doesn't matter. Now, this button allows you to use fonts that are on your computer system. And even though it says TT for True Type, you can also use your Open Type fonts. So let's go ahead and click on it. That brings up this text box, so I'm just going to back over this. I am going to keep Arial Black because on this sweatshirt it was just big and bold and chunky, and that made it really adorable. I'm going to do one for the state of Oklahoma. So I'm going to type a capital O and a capital K, then I'll say OK. Right now this is only 2 1/8 inches wide and 1 inch tall. So I'm just going to drag it to the size that I want it. And I've looked at several of these shirts online now, and they are big and chunky, so we want this to be pretty large. Now, if I want to, I can make it taller without making it wider by dragging the top or the bottom. And let's see, we have 10 5/16, so about 10 1/4 by almost 7. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit larger, or a little bit taller. And I think that looks pretty good. On an applique, oftentimes you use a satin border stitch around the outside, and this is going to be a pretty large satin border stitch. I want to go ahead and have a little more distance between the two letters. Now, at this point, it still wouldn't touch, but I just think aesthetically it's going to look better with a little open space there. So I'm going to click off of these, and I can click on the K or the O, but I'm going to click on the K, and I'm going to use the right arrow on my keyboard to move it to the right some. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's go ahead and select both O and K. I can just click right up here, and then I'm going to put it in the center of my hoop by clicking on Utility and Center in Hoop. Now this next part is super easy, but there's a few steps. I'm going to go right up here to the Digitize and Applique icon. Let's go ahead and click on it. So to change the type of stitches, to change the length of the stitches, all of that, with it still selected, you click right here on Applique. Right now my border is an E-stitch, and I want to change that to a satin border. So I'll click down here. And right now the width of my satin border is 3 millimeters. I want to go ahead and bring that up. So let's take it up here. Notice the number 5.2 shows up. When I click off of it, it went up to 5.5. If I want larger, I can actually cover over this, and let's say I want a 7 millimeter satin stitch. I put a 7 in and hit return. Now for this, I think I want to stay around 6, so let's go ahead and bump it down to that. So with the default that's in my Embrilliance, if I look at the Stitch Simulator, which is right here, and this is a very helpful tool, let's go ahead and click on it. And then I'm going to drag this across so I can see how it's stitched out. So I can see that right now my O has a placement or position stitch, and then it goes directly into the satin border stitch. So there's no material or tack down stitch in this. And that's just the default in my Embrilliance. So let's go ahead and click up here. Let's go ahead and select OK. That pulls back up the Applique panel. And I'm going to click right here for material. They call it a material stitch. I call it a tack down stitch. So we'll click on that. And then let's run that stitch simulator one more time. We'll click on it. Now we see we have the placement or position stitch. We have the tack down stitch. And then we have the satin border stitch. But notice it is doing one letter at a time. So if you also have essentials, you can do this next step. Now, right after this, I'm going to show you a second way that you can make an applique with Stitch Artist Level 1, where the colors are already sorted for you, but it takes just a tad bit more work. But if you have essentials, you can go right up here to Utility and say Color Sort. You have the opportunity to save it as a new view, and I always do. That way I have the old view to refer back to if I want to change something. So I'll say New View. And now if we go up here one more time, you see that all the placement stitches are together. After that, you would lay your fabric down. Then all of the tack down stitches are together. After that, you would cut away the excess fabric, and then you'd finally run that large, beautiful satin border stitch. So in just a few minutes, we've made what could be a super cute design for a shirt. You could put any kind of fabric you want in there and really customize it to your liking. Okay, that's the easy way. Let me show you another way. In case you don't have essentials, I'm going to show you another way you can do applique and it color sorts for you. So let's go ahead and click that off. I just hit the delete key on my keyboard. Now we're going to start the second way. You start out the exact same way. You go up to Create Designs, go over to TT. This time, let's do Alabama. So I'm going to type AL. I'll say OK. And then I'm just going to get it to the size that I want it. And then just like last time, I'm going to move one of the letters over just a little bit. Now, they're only close down here, so I don't have to really move it very far. Let's just click once to move it over to the right. Now we're going to select the A and the L by clicking here. And I'm going to go up to Utility, and I'm going to say to put this in the center of my hoop. Right now, this is just an A and an L. There's no stitches on this. What I want for my first layer is just a basic run stitch. So I'm going to click right here on Run. So if we go to the Stitch Simulator, you see that all we have is what's going to be our position or our placement stitch. So now we need to make a material or tack down stitch. So we're going to click on this AL right here, and we're going to go up to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. Or on my Mac computer, I can hit Command-C for copy, Command-V for paste. It is not obvious over here that we have a second layer, but you can see over here we do, and layer 2 is highlighted. I want to change the color of it so you can see the difference between the two layers of stitches. To change the color, I'm going to click right here, and I can pick whatever color I want. I'll just say OK. Now, since we were copying a run stitch, when we pasted it, it was still a run stitch. So we have our placement or position stitch, and we have it for both letters. Then we have our material or tack down stitch. Again, the letters are together. We need a third stitch, and that's a satin border stitch. So with the A and L still selected, I'm going to hit Command-C for copy, Command-V for paste. We have moved down to our new stitch. It did it automatically for me. We're going to click on the color, and we're just going to change it another color. We'll say OK. Now we do need to go back and change this from a run stitch to a satin border stitch. So with it still selected, go right up here, click on your Create Design icon, and here's the satin border stitch. So we'll click on it, and there we have it. Now, if I want to see what the settings are for that, I'm going to click on Satin Border. I'm going to increase the width. That time it showed it going all the way to 6. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. And then we're done with our design. So let's see it play out. We have our position replacement stitch. We have our tack down stitch. And then lastly, we have that satin border stitch. Now there's a lot more things you could do with this. If you wanted to edit with the points and soften the corners of the letters, things like that, you could do that. But I really wanted to keep today's video simple and direct to applique. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, or even suggestions for me, leave them in the comments section below. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until my next video, bye-bye.